What's up, Dustin? All right, guys. What's up? What's up? Another week. Let's see here. Put this in real quick. Guys, this is going to be a good week. We got, it was a rough week for RC racing, but it'll be a good week tonight. We're going to talk some good stuff, get some stuff rolling, and get to talking about RC racing and what more can you do on a cold day in, I guess, still November. It might as well be December. So, all right. Chat's not going to work again tonight, so we're all right with that. We'll do it like we always do it. What's everybody up to tonight? What's everybody up to tonight? Besides recovering from the long drive home last night, or whatever that was. I know a lot of guys were out in the mess yesterday, so. All right, I think we got everything set up. Okay, let's roll. Guys, good weekend, but a long weekend, I think, for most of us. I did not get out to a race this weekend. I did not go down to, what's up, Andrew? I did not go down to Four Rocks. There was no reason. They canceled the basketball game I was supposed to go to for the boy, so I ended up just staying home. Drove home this morning. Cruise set at 75 all the way. Man, you gotta love them Illinois roads. What's up, Bill? What's up, Kevin? Yeah, I knew they'd get them taken care of overnight. My brother works for Illinois Department of Transportation. I've seen a lot of Indiana guys complain about Illinois, but it is what it is. You live here, you learn to figure it out. So, it is, I mean, the roads were shit. We know it. They just plowed us out today about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I was able to get out in my truck and what have you if I needed to. The boys, the oldest boy was over here yesterday from Colum, so you can still get around, so. Rich is still on a turkey buzz. Nice. Yeah, good weekend, guys. Good week last week. I hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving. It was good to be hanging out and just chilling with everybody, checking things out. So it was a good day. Four Rocks obviously was a good race. We'll talk about that as we go along here. And too bad the weather. What's up, Josh? But it is what it is, man. Weather's weather. We deal with it all summer, and we deal with it in the winter. It's not talked about as much in the winter because usually it's not a problem because of track surface, but getting there and getting back is probably the biggest problem of it all. You know what I mean? Trying to just get around. So that's where we're at. Let's get into what we do every week. Let's talk about numbers. Guys, these numbers are probably a little low. Actually, I know they're a little low. The reality of it is because of weather. There was a few really good ones. And we'll talk about them as we go, okay? Thunderdome, they had a big race this weekend. It was a bust because of the weather. 9 and 11 is what showed on Live RC. Understandably, guys, you couldn't get around. What's up, Dennis? Brick House, 33 and 72. They had some bad weather up there. They still had a pretty good turnout. Hoosier Hobbies, they did a deal on Wednesday, I believe. Wednesday or Thursday, 27 and a 33. High Side down in Kentucky. They had a 43 and an 80. 608, 17 and a 30 today. Rich says I have a mailbox to replace, post and haul, thanks to our snowplow guy. Yeah, I don't. I live in town. Obviously, you've been here, so that's not a problem. But my mom has the same thing. She lives in the country. Slideways, guys, they had their hangover race. Great turnout down there. 49 and a 112. And then, of course, the Rumble. The Rumble had a 62 and a 134. The Rumble was definitely hampered by weather, okay? Guaranteed that was hampered by weather. They had a higher number than that before. It was like 160, I believe. Somebody asked on the page I posted what Live RC showed, and they corrected me with the 160. Guys left because of the weather. I don't blame them. Guys, it was bad. So those of you that stuck it out, raced it out, I would have stayed the night too, like it sounds like Kevin did. I would have stayed the night and went home the next morning. That's just me. But not a horrible weekend, guys. 440 drivers, 442 cars on the tracks that I covered there, which is only 11 in the winter. So that's pretty good numbers, guys. I think Slideways had a better turnout. One, because it's a third year for doing that deal. Those guys put on a hell of a show down there, and the weather wasn't as bad. They did have no fault that I know of anybody except for just it happens. They did have a lipo fire. So, guys, that's been a big topic this year for me personally, thanks to Dave being able to put that awareness out there. They did have a fire extinguisher. One of the ones that I supplied, and I don't care that as much as, just so you guys know, those that we supplied, those that you can buy, if you need to know what to buy to put with your toolbox or your pit box, whatever it is, get a hold of me, or you can look on Slideways. I put a thing out there showing that we donated them. Guys, I just want to make sure if there is a problem, somebody can take care of it. That's why we did that. That's why Dave did it in the beginning, and that's why, as a group, the RC Underground Radio crew is trying to make that more aware. And if each individual podcast that goes through the radio can put out some, that would be great. I know I have gave some, and Dave is going to give some, or has given some to some tracks. They do work. Okay, so make sure that if that's something that you want, you can buy them. Fire Suppression Solutions has those. That's the guys that did the work with us. They are available from other outlets. Just make sure you buy the same thing. Okay. I would love for you guys to support Fire Suppression Solutions because they helped us bring awareness, but that doesn't have to happen. Honestly, as long as people are not burning stuff to the ground, I don't care. No problem, Mike. I don't care where you get the shit, guys. As long as you have it or somebody near you has it, use it. Okay. Accidents happen, man. Like I said, I bought a pack of 3 for the house. Yep, good, Justin. Anybody that wants one or needs one, next time, I don't know if I'm going to be at PTs or not. I got basketball games Friday and Saturday this week for their big race. We'll see how that happens. I'll probably slide down there after. But if that's the case and you need one, I might be able to help with that. Okay? Hang on, Dennis. Let me crank it up for you. That's pretty high. Maybe I'm a little further away tonight. Trying to be calm, cool, and collected. So there. But yeah, so that's what we got. So I'm glad you did, Justin. I think everybody should carry one in their box with them. That's old man ears is what that is, probably. Ryan's saying it's a little low, too. Is that better? I bumped that a little bit. I don't want to get crazy. Why is it so low tonight? Maybe I'm not there yet. So anyway, so that's where we're at, guys. We have... those are available. So if you can't find them or don't want to find them and you see me and I happen to have some, I bought a 5-pack, so I have 5 of them available. If somebody needs them, then I can sell them to you if I have them, okay? I'll just replenish my stock. It doesn't matter to me. As long as guys are aware that they work and you look at them, you're like, how is this going to do anything? But the reality of it is that's what it takes. That's all you need, and it will put the fire out for you, okay? I got a message from those guys down there. Okay, good. Ryan says I had a hard time here Wednesday too. Phone was probably about drunk. Better now. Okay. All right, good. I just don't want to blow you guys away by wearing earbuds. Yeah, seeing low here too. A little bit better now though. Okay. All right. I'll try to talk a little louder, but we're pushing. Let me see if I can get it. So there it is. So yeah, so guys, that's what it's about, is just awareness and getting it done. I got a text message when it happened from a couple of different guys. Cole sent me a message saying thank you, and they said it worked very well. And there's Mike Pasley again saying it worked well. So they're available other places, guys. You can get them off Amazon. You can get them other places. Like I said, Fire Suppression Solutions, they sell them also. That way, you support the people that helped us figure this shit out. So behind the scenes stuff for that, guys, I am working on a battery storage deal to help if guys are worried about storing them. That might be a little safer, but I'm going to run it through those guys before we do anything. Dave doesn't know this yet, but I'm going to get with Dave and help and see if we can figure out something to make it better. Okay? So there's that. But that's not, I mean, I'm not saying that's made it home midnight, just a 4-hour drive. Yeah. What's your normal drive, Jason? But yeah, so, but that's not the highlight of that deal, guys. There's a lot of cars down there at the turkey, the hangover race at Slideways. Looked like a good turnout. Looked like a good, okay. So an hour, that ain't too bad. Hour and 45 minutes, or hour and 15 minutes more. That ain't horrible with that conditions. Definitely a good show down there. Those guys got to figure it out. They've been doing it for a while. And I didn't hear how the track was, but I'm sure everybody's ripping the lip like always. And hell yeah, that's a cool thing to do. And if the track's known for it, they're known for it. I mean, so I've only been there once. It was a good time when I went there, guys. If you guys haven't been to Slideways down in Brownstown, Illinois, little drive south, head down there, check it out, and let's rip. The other one, guys, we all talked about it, the Rumble. Like Jason says the other way. It was fine till I hit the damn Wisconsin state line. Yeah, so he thought Illinois roads were better, guys. There's always a worse state with road conditions, promise you. I've lived in a lot of different places where winter weather is heavy, and there's always somebody that's got a worse state than you. Driving home when I lived in North Dakota, man, you'd go through, depending on which way you went, come across the north or drop south and come across the center of the country to get back to Illinois. And man, it was when I lived in southern Illinois, and man. Joe Payne was down there. Joe won, actually, what was the 13.5 late model? Road Race Concepts, one of our sponsors. Bottom came in pretty well also. Slideways, good. Good. I'm glad you had more than one lane. You know what I mean? I hate bottom feeding all night long, but I'm glad I had more than one lane. We didn't go anywhere. We were watching, I was watching live on Live RC, watching Four Rocks. It looks like those guys had a hell of a show. Like I said, numbers down a little bit. Guys, if you didn't think the numbers going to be down with the weather and the weather forecast, you were sadly mistaken. Couldn't have been worse. I felt spoiled once I got across the state line. There's a reason we do that, Sam. There's a reason. But yeah, so that's that. I think I watched it on Live RC. The live feed wasn't up, but I was watching just the race itself. I've watched so much on it. I enjoy watching it that way as much as anything. But it seemed like some pretty good racing. And then we also went out and watched, or I got some videos sent. Some guys that were there sent me some videos of it. It looked like it was a good track. Congratulations to Zach, Cole, Tim, the whole crew down there getting that together. I think, guys, it's going to be something if they continue it next year and finish off the actual Rumble coming up the 2nd through the 4th of January. I think it's something that could become a staple, and I think it's something that guys could really look forward to doing that is here in this area. And I think it's going to grow. Those guys got shit figured out. They know what's going on. Cedar runs a good program during the summer. Cole helps down at Farmer City. So there's two tracks in the outdoor world that are helping to make one good race in the indoor world, which is amazing and good for the hobby, right? And then as long as we get weather to cooperate, which is nothing you can do about. What really sucks is Cedar Bluff, Farmer, those two are the ones that are, Farmer City, those are the two that are involved in this deal to run it, right? I don't know portions. I don't know who has what. I don't know anything about that, and it doesn't matter to me. The reality of it is those guys worry about this all summer long. They're worried about weather all summer. Is the weather, are we going to get rained out? You know? Is the weather going to look shitty and nobody's going to want to do it? You know what I mean? And here they are doing one indoor deal to stimulate it in the wintertime, and guess what? Fucking weather again. I feel bad for the guys, but they did the best with the situation and seemed like they got cars rolling and had a pretty good turnout. Prelude is just that. The Rumble will be more, promise you. Van Ice says, I thought it was a great event. Might need a tire option for the mod guys. And Jason says, I can't wait for January 1st race. Yeah. So that race is 400 entry limit. So they did the prelude to try to see how it's going to go. From what I've heard, talked to people, and seen online, it really seems like the format worked really well. I don't have anything up about it, but it is going to be 3 practice. Or let me hang on just a second, guys. Let me see if I can get it up here. I was just working on a flyer for it, and I didn't get it done. I think it's going to be 3 rounds of qualifying next time. It's going to be a 3-day deal, so you'll come in Friday for practice. Saturday will be controlled practice, and then 3 rounds of qualifying. Start the lower mains. There will be a 10 o'clock curfew on Saturday. Get everybody out of there at a reasonable time. Finish up the mains and trophies. Winter Rumble at 4 Rocks, guys, I think is going to be, I fuck around with this saying all the time, but it will be a premier race. I think it'll be something that will continue to be a great race for everybody to enjoy and have a good racing surface and a good time. Working the kinks out, that's why they did the prelude. And I don't think the kinks were that big. I just think that they, from what I've heard, it looks like it was a really good race. I really wish I could have went over, but like I said, it wasn't worth it with the weather. So there's that, guys. That's the races for the weekend. Like I said, short-handed because of where we are, what's going on. Cuz says, great track and ran program. Knowing what I know today, I would have stayed. Yeah. Hey, it is what it is, cuz. People kind of, you know what I mean? You make that decision and you jump on board and you ride with it, right? We all know that's how life works. And if you boogied, you boogied. That happens. It is what it is. And I think there's a lot of guys that did. Don't beat yourself up too much with it. I think there's plenty of guys that probably jumped off and went home because of that reason. Worried about weather, worried about, what have you. But it is what it is. Get out there and get it done. All right, guys, let's see what we got for races this week coming up. Thunderdome. They are going to run the point series. They're at the High Banks. They will be rolling that out. So if you guys are working with the NASCARs, make sure you get up there and get that done. Go fast. A little high bite action. They're going to be out running this weekend. Club race. Brick House. Brick House is getting ready to run another one. They're going to run a club race this weekend. They just ran... They ran this weekend. They are going to run their money race the weekend after. So the 13th will be the money race again, the pay dirt race, the second one. So make sure you guys get over there if that's where you're at to get that taken care of. And then the granddaddy of them all here, the midget race, the midget mayhem down at PT's, December 6th. We will be down there if we get time to get down there. Depending on what the kids' basketball looks like, that's how it is. Family comes first. So we will be down there if we get time. I'm sure we will. Me and the wife will probably shoot down there. We're home, so it won't be a big deal. Doors open at 8, racing at noon. 125 on the midget entry, which was pre-registration only, I believe. So they are doing a handout motor. So that's going to be interesting to see how that works out for everybody. Seating 20 laps, top 5 average, 2 30-lap qualifiers, 30-lap lowers, 75-lap lower A main, and 100 entry max on that deal. So I think they got that done. They will continue to run 13.5 late model buggy street stock for additional classes. Okay, $20 entry, $150 to win each class. Well, it looks on the schedule there. So, should be a really good race. Paul and Tom down there always take care of business, get their shit done. Make sure you guys get down there and take care of that if that's where you need to be. I don't know if can you race anyways, or do you have to pre-register to get in 13.5 late model buggy street stock? Did you have to pre-register for them too, or is it just the midgets? I am not sure about that. But if not, then you could always go down there and run the 13.5 late and the buggy street stock if you want. If they'll let you in, I don't know. You'd have to contact them for that. But that's where we're at, guys, this weekend. Okay? We'll probably be down there at some point. We'll probably head down and hang out with those guys for a little bit. See what everybody's up to since we didn't make it to 4 Rocks due to the weather. Alrighty? Let's get the question of the week. I'm going to bring question of the week up here, guys, real quick. And then I am going to... I'm going to grab me something to drink because I forgot to before I sat down here. Here's the question of the week. It comes from Ryan. He says, do we owe the public anything, or is it fine that we keep some of our 3,000 hours of testing to ourselves? Guys, this is going to go into our topic a little bit tonight. Not a lot, but a little bit. What's up, Rick? What do you guys think? And I understand where this stemmed from, guys, is we was in the After Hours show one night talking about it, and it got on the topic of how many hours mod guys put in. How many hours guys put in, not only the mod guys, but guys put in to make their shit as good as they can. And the question came up is, do you owe anybody anything with all the testing you do to make their shit better? It's a very touchy situation. I don't think you owe them everything. I don't think you owe anybody anything, honestly. But I think the helping hands of it, you give them some pointers to help, you know what I mean, if they're really struggling. And Ryan and Jake and Justin and that crew of what I call mod guys, they'll help you. No different than Jeremy and Scuba, Butch, Jason Van Ice. Those guys will help you in spec stuff as much as they'll do in the mod stuff from the mod guys. Or even the mod guys, you know, you get down to a 13.5 crate late model or 13.5 sprint, they're there to help you with that also. So don't think that's a no-go for them either. So hang out there, guys. Throw some comments. What do you guys think about that? Do you guys think that every piece of information that you learn from your testing you should have to give up, or do you think you should be able to hold a little bit of it back just because you did the work? Let that guy work a little bit for what he's getting. I'm going to grab a drink. I'll be right back. Good. Some guys getting some comments in. Sorry, guys. I had to move the IT department's dinner to get to the Sotas. Carson says, maybe not everything, but getting them in the right direction helps everyone. Agreed, Carson. That is a very, very good way to put that, and I think that's it. What's up, Joe? Dennis says, I always have people saying that they want to beat you on the track and not on the workbench. Yeah, I mean, there's so many things, but you're 95% of the times one on the bench. Honestly. What's up, Dank? Dustin Cooper says, Dennis, the workbench is where the races are actually won. Yeah, I think so too, Dustin. I think that's a very valid point. Ryan says, I think helping people get undrivable cars back under control makes the racing better. I agree, Ryan, with that. And I agree making them drivable and getting them in the right direction is the best thing to do. You might not give them every little piece. Rick says, I think if you can practice more than anyone, you should share info, yet just because it works for them doesn't mean it'll work for you. Right. The setup might not be the same. The setup might not work the same as anybody else's. On that note, guys, as we're talking about setup and stuff, Dustin just did a video tonight. So I know a lot of you guys were on there. If you guys weren't and have some questions or information, jump over and watch his live he did for about an hour tonight. It was very interesting. Obviously, good tech tips. Talking about, he's building some diffs and stuff. So, Aaron Mull says, if I got the information for free, I'll give it for free. If it costs me a significant amount of time, effort, or even money to learn it, I'm holding that. I'll gladly help someone get their car race day, going better, or to clean up drivers I might have to race against. Yeah, Aaron, I think that's a good point too. I don't think some people that aren't deep in it understand how much time and effort guys are putting into this. And some are. I mean, there's little shit on the side that people are doing that is in the gray area. The mod guys don't have much gray area. Like even in the spec stuff, you know what I mean? There's some gray area stuff there that's going on, guys, that might make a huge difference. But it took that guy, I don't know, hours and hours of just getting down to figure it out. You know what I mean? Jason Van Ice says, I've got nothing to hide. If I get beat by sharing setup stuff, cool, means that shit worked. Oh, well, yeah. Yeah, I think there's just some stuff that guys hide, and I don't blame them. You know what I mean? Dank says, nobody owes anything, but most fast guys help us out because they want us fast too. It makes more fun for even, yeah. It even, I mean, everybody talks about spec racing being so hard to deal with. But the reality of it is not everybody can mod race. So, I mean, not everybody can do it. So that's why we have that class. And I think there's, as you figure out little things and drive better, you get it figured out, right? Rick says, I've done a lot of work on my car. The only problem is no place to practice with it. Yeah, that's a problem now. In this time, practice time's limited in the wintertime. And sometimes in the summertime. I mean, like I said before, sometimes you got to go pay to race to not race. Just to get some laps in to figure it out. Justin says, the sheet I share is from 2023 and it still works, but I've moved on from that. But we've moved on from that. Yeah. Yep. I think there's stuff out there, guys. I think there's little tweaks, what have you, minor tune. And honestly, some guys may never even know that it makes a big difference or feel the difference in it. But a guy that puts in, I don't know, more laps than anybody would probably be able to tell the difference. Some guys would, some guys wouldn't. Excuse me. And some guys will also say that doesn't work for me. You know what I mean? So who's to say that's going to work for you? But I don't think anybody has to share anything. You don't know soul anybody anything. The only thing you might look at is what we're talking about tonight. It'll help the hobby. And I think the question, and coming from Ryan, I don't think that's a problem. I don't think that's where the point of that is not to say we're not sharing because we want to win everything. The point of it is, hey guys, you need to work hard too. Don't let half a dozen guys go out there, or a dozen guys, or 500 guys go out there and do all the work, and you try to sneak in the back door and figure out everything. Then the track that can have practice is over 2.5 hours, 2 to 3 hours away. Yeah. Yeah, Rick, that's a problem with off-season racing. One thing we can say for Indiana guys is 5-Star will give you guys another indoor place to race. So I don't know what his surface is going to be, if he's going to be high bite or go with a looser dirt situation. But 5-Star, they're getting that deal done. Shane's working on that deal, and that will be good for you guys over there to be able to have another place to race. Brickhouse, they're up there too. They're indoor for Indiana. Iowa, I don't know. I'd be interested to see. Privately, somebody send me Indiana or Iowa, who's racing indoor in Iowa that is not high bite. That comment was more towards equal competition and not people learning. Okay? So there's Ryan commenting on his comment when we were talking that night. So that was more towards equal competition, not people learning. Okay? So there's that. There's question of the week. And a good one. Like I said, I just think that I don't think anybody owes anybody anything. I really think it's just, I think I think it does help competition. I do think that works for me. Joe Payne says that works for me. Won't help most folks, but what works for me won't help most folks, but I still help where I can. Yeah. Guys, I don't think there's anybody. I think there's a big misconception, and we'll talk about that more here in just a little bit, and we've talked about it a bunch on here. I'm going to go over it again, trying to reiterate that this is not what happens. I still hear it every day. Almost every day, I get a text about it. Or I'm at a track. Every time I'm at a track, I hear about it. And don't get shy about telling me this shit. I don't care. But I'm just saying, I don't see it the way you see it. And we'll talk about that here in just a minute. Demon is a carpet high side in is high bite and Island is high bite is all in Iowa. Oh, okay, yeah. So, I mean, I don't even know if high bite's going to help you any if you're running outdoor in the summertime anyway, Rick. You know what I mean? Except for just getting laps in. But the setup's going to be completely different, especially carpet and high bite dirt. I promise you, that's not going to be the best. But all right, let's get to topic of the week, guys. And this comes with the comment also from Dave. Those of you guys that know Dave, he built the original mini mod body. He's an old racer. I think he's trying to sell out right now. Last I seen, he was selling his B mod. So he's been out here a few times. Love having him at the track, but it seems like he's getting up there in age and wanting to get out of it. But here's a couple questions for them. So the topic of the week is building the dirt oval community. So, excuse me, as said in the topic, if you guys looked it up before you got on here. And Dave's comment was, come out. This is to a new racer. Come out, look at the cars, and talk to the racers. Most racers will help new guys. They will save money by buying the right stuff from the start. And I think that's a lot of where people talk about the misconception is where it starts right there. You know what I mean? The new guy coming into this hobby. Rick Taylor says, Joe Payne, true that I've had people come up and ask me, why do I have my car set up that way? And I tell them because it works for me. Yeah, 100%, Rick. It's all in what you're doing. You know what I mean? It's all in how you drive, what you have, blah, blah, blah. Sam Johnson says, I think this weekend really changed my mind about a lot of things. Mainly the difference between... Thanks, author. Mainly the difference between a good car and a good driver. Up until this point, I've been focused on my cars being good, and I haven't been giving much thought to my driving. I think the difference between fast and slow guys... Don't get on the fast guy bullshit. That's over for Wrenching Wednesdays over on Sam's page. You get to talk about fast guys. Fast and slow guys isn't the cars. It's they are badass drivers and can make a bad car look good and a good car great, where a bad driver can barely make a good car look decent. It seems trivial, but I don't think many people, including myself, grasp that. Sam, here's I'm not a driver as much as I'd like to be, but here's my point to that. We have a guy here at the track. I know him very well, Jeremy Morris. And I don't know if you're on here, Jeremy. Shout out. Jeremy can drive junk. Now he's a spec racer. Nothing wrong with that. Those of you who know we didn't do any mod until this year. Jeremy's a spec racer, and the dude can drive junk. Literally drive junk. And you ask him what he's doing, and he's like, however it drives, I just drive it. And not always he's fast, but he can get around. But there's other guys that can drive, that are great drivers, but they need their car set up better. So, yes, my opinion on it is if anybody is getting into the hobby, put laps in. Tweak just a little bit. Don't make wholesale changes. Don't blame the car. Don't throw the car. I've seen that happen a few times already this year, last summer. Summers before, I seen mini mods flying across my yard. So that happens too. But don't do any of that until you've put in tens of thousands of laps. And if you don't have a track by you to get laps in the summertime, you got to drive. You've got to do it. I know Sam had talked about on his page that he has some ground and he might build a small oval in the backyard, on his ground to be able to do something where he could, to work on it and play with it and do things. That's great if you got the time to do it. It is very, 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 very time consuming to have anything that's worth a shit to work with. But if you're willing to put that in, you're willing to put that in. Not buying hop-up, Ryan says, not buying hop-up parts based on first impressions will save you money in the long run. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I think just figure it out, right? I mean, I think it's where he's going. Just figure out what you're doing before you do that. You know what I mean? We all have the same cars and same equipment. Anyone who has the up-to-date stuff is within 90% or more of what the fast guys have equipment-wise. It's not the cars, it's the driver. There's a track going behind my shop next spring. Yeah, that's from Sam Johnson. So yeah, that's it. You know, if you have the time to take care of it, that's great. Who was it that built one here? Man, I can't think of the name. Somebody built one at their house this year. Jesse had a small one at his place for a while. Jesse McBeth. Somebody else built one. But anyway, the problem is keeping the maintenance up on them, right? You're going to spend to be at a relatively good track. Now, the other thing is you can figure out how to drive on a shit track, shit traction on a track, and it might make you even better driver, right? But that's something that you have to really think about. You know what I mean? It is not. You're right. 90% of the time, it is not the car. There is a little bit in the setup. I think you can get, but the biggest part of it really is laps. And I tell everybody that comes out, laps. Josh Alvey, nice to see you commenting, buddy. You get on the positive side. I like that about Josh. Since I got back into racing a couple years ago, a lot of different people have helped me along the way. I really appreciate that. I think that I understand. I like to understand setup concepts and what certain adjustments do to the car more than having someone just hand me the setup. I want to understand what a little changes is and do more than anything. And I agree with Josh with that 100%. I think these classes that are going to come around this year are going to help a lot of guys in that way, and we've needed that for a while. Luckily, we have enough people in this area that have enough, one, knowledge, and two, pull to get manufacturers and people on board to help with that, to make this dirt oval side better than what it's ever been. It's on a upwards spiral going up like a rocket ship, but we have got to take care of it to make it better, right? And to make it the best it can be. Rick Taylor says, I've asked if I could go practice on the track and was told it was tilled up, yet I drove by the track and it wasn't. Why would they do that? I don't know how your track is, if it's privately owned or not. I don't know if it's a public track or a private track, Rick. But, I mean, they don't want anybody on it. I wouldn't let anybody on my track now. You know what I mean? So, it's down for the season. It's down for the season. Right now, we could race snowmobiles on it. But the reality of it is my son wants to do that. But that's another story for another day. I mean, that's their track. Unless it's in a public park. You know what I mean? And there are some. But Sam says the conversation needs to be had, though, as well. Getting laps at only one place ultimately can be a bad thing long term. There's a lot of guys who are badass at one track and can't find a driver stand at the others. Diversified laps are, in my opinion, the most important in the long-term progression of the success. It was in the summer. Oh, I don't know, Rick. Don't know. I mean, I don't know those situations, so I can't help you there. Sam, yes, I agree and I don't agree. If you're having all kinds of trouble, get one track down. And know when you go there and that track the track's not the same every night. So if you go there and it's not rubbered up, then you know you have to do this. And you go back and the next time and it's rubbered up real bad, then you have to do this. Or they tilled it, aerated real heavy and didn't pack it as tight, and it's a little looser than normal, you have to do this. No track is going to be the same. Now, once you get that track figured out, then branch out. But I agree, you can't be, I've always said, if you're the best at Kempton, big deal. You're the best at Kempton. Let's see what you are everywhere else with the other guys that you may never race. And that's more racer to racer more than track surface. But every track's different. Every track's got different dirt. Not many of us are ordering dirt from the exact same place. So yes, laps are what makes it. I'm with you 100% on that. That's where I get long-term comment and playing in the comment. Yeah, I agree. I understand what you're saying, Sam, but I think I think somebody that's just getting in it or back in it needs to really think about, just figuring it out. Just getting your car where you're winning a lot or you're top 5 at your local, and then branch out from there. But if you're going to run and you're going to claim you are in the top of the top in any class, whether that be spec or mod, you probably need to be at the big races. Some guys will get better with that. Some guys will get to the big races and they'll start to get better and better and better. And then others will not. And they'll be a mid-pack guy. It is what it is. A mid-pack guy is a mid-pack guy. And if you don't like that mid-pack status, then maybe you need to move down to a spec class again. Or if you never went through a spec class, you jump right into mod, then you need to step down and see what a 13.5 does for you. And then when you win a bunch there, you can move your way back up. There's, I don't know what that is. You know what I mean? I try to race different tracks because I feel I learn more, and just run one track is boring. It is, Rick, for sure. It is for sure. The other thing is there's a lot of people that are out there racing one track because that's where their buddies hang out and that's what they like. And they want to get good there. And they want to be quote-unquote track champion there. That's fine. I don't have a problem with that. But at some point, if you're going to say you're badass and you got what it takes, you need to be at the big race. You need to be at Four Rocks, right? You need to be at the big race, a big race of BB Mods. You need to be at Battle of the Bluff. What is it, Short Course National or Short Track Nationals down in Jacksonville. You need to be a PT's race any weekend that's a big race. If you're a wing guy, King of the Wings, that's where you need to be. If you're going to be the best. If you're going to talk about being the best. If you think you're the best, right? Rick Taylor says Chili Bowl. I don't know, man. I've never been Chili Bowl, so I'm not going to comment on that yet. We're going to have an episode here in the next week or so about the Chili Bowl, 2 weeks maybe about Chili Bowl and my opinions of it. And I haven't been there, so I'm doing this from green is green. I'm not going to tell you what you need. I'm not going to tell you how it needs to be done. I've just been doing some research on the Chili Bowl and talking to some guys, and I want to hear their opinions and what they think of it and that kind of stuff. So I think there's just as good a racing in the Midwest, to be honest. But that's my opinion, guys. I'm not bagging on the Chili Bowl. I'm going at some point. I want to see what it's about. I think you could do the same thing in Central Illinois. But yeah, so that's where that's at, guys. But Chili Bowl is a tough event, Cuz says. I think it's just because of how long it is. I would love to run it, yet I wouldn't have a snowball's chance in hell. Well, hey, there you go. You don't know until you go out there and do it, right? So, but that's how that is. I mean, I don't think that's the. It is obviously the king of the kings, right? It is what the RC Dirt Oval community considers the Super Bowl, right? So there you go. I don't know. You know what I mean? So yeah. The other side of this, guys, is we're talking about how do we build it? How do we, as I said in the description, fertilizer. What are we going to do to keep it going? One thing, I've been working with Brickhouse a little bit on some flyers and stuff. And with that being said, they do something that I haven't done here, and I don't know why I haven't done it. I just guess I never thought about it. 12 and under are free. We did that. We did novice free for a couple of races, but 12 and under free. So that's something I think that really needs to be thought about because of trying to help keep kids in here and figuring it out. letting them know, hey, there's normally a charge to race, but we will, you know, you're not going to race, you're not going to get charged because you're 12 or under, you know what I mean? Just so they know why. Cuz says it's called roller coaster week. Yeah, I bet. I like I said, I've never been out, and when I go, I'm not going to go for the whole week, and especially since basketball season's now, there's no way I can get out there for a whole week. Pasley says it was intimidating. I'm sure it was, and just because of the location and the number of guys that are there, and honestly the talent that's there. But I think there's great talent right here in this area. I don't think anybody that races every weekend in the Midwest should go there intimidated, except for size, nostalgia, that kind of stuff. As far as racing performance, I think anybody in the Midwest could hang without a problem. That's in the upper group, right? Top fives in all the big races around here. I think we could all hang pretty well. And I'm not, don't somebody from Oklahoma text me death threats because you're better. I understand there's good people everywhere, guys. I'm just saying, that's where I think. Real tech out there to motors, checks, etc. Oh yeah. Midwest has the toughest drivers for sure, yeah. Thanks, Mama. Mama's got dinners ready for me. But yeah, right, JJ. That's something that I would really, I honestly probably need to wait. Trace has got one more year, and then I would like to go out and watch tech and get through all that and kind of see how that's done on that grand scale to figure out how it happens. You know what I mean? So, I don't even know, Rick. Mama's in the comments, maybe still she could tell you. I've honestly been working on the other building most of the day. Sean says, what's up, Sean? He says, Chili Bowl's a lot of fun. It's a brutal long week, but a blast. Sanding it was 9 the first time and won street stock. Won the street stock at 11. Wish we could travel more. Owning a track and sanding and travel baseball makes travel tough and is highly recommended. I highly recommend it. Yeah. That's where I'm at right now, buddy. I can't go to the Chili Bowl. I had no problem for the shout out either. Oh, chili mac for dinner. Nice. I can't go to the Chili Bowl because Trace has basketball. As a matter of fact, Chili Bowl that weekend, we play Clifton Central on Friday night. So there's that. So it doesn't look like Chili Bowl's in my on the menu for me again this year. So, which is fine, man. My kid's only going to play basketball for another year, this year and next year. And I'm going to watch him play some basketball. If you guys are on my personal page, you'll see me live commentating Tri-Point basketball all season. Jump on there and say hey. I see some of you guys on there every now and then. Jump on and say hey and jump off if you don't want to. JJ says travel baseball is America's most expensive pastime. Yeah, no shit. Been there, done that. Yeah. We didn't do any of that. We did a little bit of travel basketball, but never baseball. I'd love to go down on the Saturday shows. Yeah, so getting back to getting the hobby together. So I really like the free 12 and under. That will probably go into effect this year. We don't have a whole lot of kids. But I think there's a couple things that's happened that's really helped the hobby on the dirt oval side. And I think with us seeing big manufacturers jumping on board, the Traxxas stuff, obviously, it has helped a ton. It is going to make you can go buy it and be done. You know what I mean? So agreed. Plus racing, I'm broke. Yeah, no shit, Sean. I think with them doing that, and then I've also heard, the Losi, I think is the other side. I'm sorry. Losi is the other side that has helped us so much. The Losi Sprint stuff has, I think, brought a lot of people in. I know for a fact that there's a ton of those cars sitting on the shelf somewhere. I don't know why they're sitting, but I think a lot of people bought them for nostalgia, and that's it. The rest of it is, yes, I fed the IT department. The Losi Sprint cars, I said it before, I don't think they're the best as far as a beginner car because of the open wheel. But that's the only reason. as of so far that I know, Losi has kind of kept up on those cars as far as product. So as long as they keep up on the product and we can get parts for them, I think that class is going to continue to grow. We are going to attempt to run it as long as we have enough cars. I will build a class for it every year, or a trophy for it every week, just like I did the SC mods. But if we don't have enough show up to run, I'd like to be able to run a B main with most classes. If I can't run a B main, we'll have a conversation about it. We'll put it out there about, hey, bring your Losis or we're not going to run them. But I think the Losi Sprint, it can always run in the novice class, right, if you're a novice. I'm not saying that. But the class itself is hard if you don't have enough. You know what I mean? If you're just putting them out there. But that's how that is. Not every week. I don't know what you're talking about. I ran junior sprints for a couple years, gave Satan a choice to get a $600 or a 600 or go all in RC and busy. Yeah. Yep. Oh yeah. Man, there's all kinds of money if you want it, right? I mean, well, you got to make all kinds of money if you want it, right? But yeah, that's the way it is. I will. Yeah, we'll make it. Oh yeah. Now trophies won't be every week. I'm sorry. Trophy every week. Every weekend we race. We race for trophies on Saturdays. Fridays will be pictures. Pictures and a Facebook post. But yeah, so we'll build them. You know, I always have them, but it's just like, I think those RTR cars like that have helped the dirt oval side a ton. I think there's a lot of them that aren't being ran. That is what we have to work on, trying to help a kid be able to just get laps in. And honestly, I thought about doing a thing if we get enough novice, if we get enough juniors, novice, next gens, whatever I want to call them. I call them next gens here. If we get enough of them to race, we might end up doing a Saturday novice-only show at some point, just to give them some time on the track. And that would be practice, a ton of practice, one heat, one main. Okay, love you, Mama. One heat, one main. And try to get, but just a ton of practice time for those guys, just to be able to get laps in. And I think that's the biggest thing. We had some new people come out this year. They bought a bunch of stuff. They bought a bunch of used stuff and had some trouble getting around and really just needed time. Now, they live a little bit away, so they had to drive it in. Not a big deal. They did. They were here a lot, but you just have got to, you've got to be able to make that happen. And you've got to be able to allow, as track owners, allow them somewhere time to practice. I know that's a big key problem. Guys are complaining about practice times and how long it takes and blah, blah, blah. I don't know. You know what I mean? We can't start until late because we're outdoors. We can't, we can leave the track open for, I don't care, until the sun comes up. I don't care. If you want to, on a Friday night deal, we've been out here 3 or 4 in the morning. But you've got to be committed enough to make that happen to be able to get laps in. So I think that's good. Schroeder sent me a deal. Ryan says, hang on just a second. Ryan says, if your novice day fits my schedule, I'll come and help them where I can. Okay, yeah. Yeah, that's what we'll do. We'll get some guys out to help figure that out, you know what I mean, and do the novice where try to get them to get better. Okay. Thanks, cuz. Guys, there's a community right there coming at it. Guys talking about getting novice guys out here, and guys that are not novice are out trying to help. You know what I mean? All-Star Hobbies down in Missouri did a deal down in Fredericktown. They did October, November clinics. I think they built, though. They also did a build session. I don't know if that was the same ones or not. PTs and BB mods doing the clinics this summer and winter. I think those are huge deals that are going to help a lot of us. And then another thing that Andrew Schroeder sent me, was a school program. And I don't know what happened. I can't find any more information on it, and I haven't messaged them yet. But there's a school program where you turn your grades into the hobby shop. For what, I don't know, but I would be interested in seeing how that works. Just trying to get more kids involved, right? Get more kids available to do that. You know, that would be huge to be able to fix some of that up. You know what I mean? And if a kid does well in school, the RC community as a whole, we reward them for that. You know, our little buddy Gavin here in town, he's over here every Friday and Saturday night we're racing. He runs a novice class. Scuba Steve gave him a car this year. That dude, he went to state. We announced at one of the races he was getting ready to go to state for running. You know what I mean? Track and field. So that kind of stuff, man, is just bring them into this community that is very hard-nosed, very aggressive at times, but we love every one of us in some way, right? And we enjoy racing as much as we can. I'm not where I want to be yet, but I know the Losi stuff, like the back of my hand, I'd love to help as well. That's from Sam. Yeah, Sam, that would be somewhere where you could, you know, the help could really be there. And if I do something, it'll probably be a day where we can try to get people together and put it out there early, get as many novice or young kids out as we can. We did it with the school program. We donated slashes, and they built them in a science class, and then they ran them. A lot of my guys, the Kempton Crew guys that might be on here, we've talked about that, and they come out and helped. My Kempton Crew guys come out and helped. Others came out and helped. Paul Leesky, right down the road, he does a bunch of vintage stuff and used stuff, RC, and he come out and helped. That's how that's going to work, you know what I mean? To be able to help those kids get better, or they broke stuff, and we could figure that out, you know what I mean? Sam says, as for those clinics, I am reaching out to Tom and Brad for both events. I want to both live stream the entire sessions and repost them so guys can go back and later and learn what they need to know to keep progressing using my Wrench and Wednesdays platform. Yeah. So those of you that don't know that's on here right now, Sam's giving a shameless plug. On Wednesday nights, he does Wrench and Wednesdays. It's a pretty good session. Sam's getting better with it. He's figuring it out. He's trying to do some other technical stuff that looks better. So he's going to figure that out. And it's a good program, guys. You're going to get some technical stuff, but here's the thing about it, and it is what it is. You can use a lot of the stuff that's talked about on that program for every everyday car, but they're working on mod stuff, GFRP stuff is where they're at on that. I have no problem with that, guys. I think that's great, and I think you do a great job, Sam, with that, but most guys aren't coming into the hobby buying a GFRP car. And I'm not saying that in a negative way at all. Don't take it that way. I'm just saying that I think the programs that Brad's going to come up with, I think will help the spec guy as much as anybody. Now, do I think a guy that's been doing this for 25 years, whenever he has somebody talking about radios and how it works, they might be able to get something out of it. And they might be able to get something out of every class that they do. The garage and Brad's both. But the stuff, a lot of guys are there's a lot of information, a lot of talk out there about the mod stuff. But whenever you get down to building a B6 into a street stock, or the B mod, taking a short course to a B mod, you know what I mean? There's just nothing out there. I asked some of my guys about it, and they're like, well, you got to go to a track and you got to ask. Well, I do not disagree with that. I think that is a great idea. Just go to the track and talk to people, right? Figure it out. Maybe buy a used one and figure it out. Well, that age is kind of going away. I think people in general don't want to feel like they're stupid. And whenever they don't know it's something like that, then they start to think, well, I don't know enough and I'm not very smart and I don't want to ask this guy a dumb question. So I think there needs to be something where we can get into some middle ground, not necessarily the cheapest of the cheap, not necessarily running a Traxxas late model box stock or a TRX modified, as we call them, the modified car from Traxxas. But there needs to be something where the lower end guys can figure some stuff out. You know what I mean? Myself included. I would love to learn just how setup works and see how it's different. So another idea we had thought about was, what if we got with your local Boys and Girls Club? We have Livingston County, which is in Pontiac. It's a little tough, although the kids do have some stuff here. What if you were to get with them and try to figure something out where you're building cars? Honestly, guys, I know everybody hates the slashes, but they're damn cheap. You can get them built. You can have them built, as a whole or a group, and they can figure that stuff out. Do it as a group project. We did 6 of them, 3 or 4 kids per group, but maybe that's something we do, trying to help figure out that. I don't know. I just try to come up with ideas of how to make it get more people interested in the hobby. The other thing that I worry about is the time of how long we're at the track. I think that's why a novice day or a novice race day would be really good, because you could bring that down to be a 3-hour or 2-hour session instead of being a marathon of a day with 75 to 150 cars. You know what I mean? So that would be the best way to do it. You know what I mean? Cut that program in half or even a third to help where that kid doesn't have to sit there forever figuring it out. Sam says, my very, 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 very long-term goal is to have a platform and a place where any racer from low C to mod sprint and every class in between can come and learn and grow in the knowledge base. I appreciate that, Sam, and I think you'll be okay. I think you'll be okay. It's just having the content, right, and having the stuff to do it and figuring that out. So yeah, I think you're well on your way. Keep on doing what you're doing, buddy. It's good. It's just there's just not many that we can do and just do that. Tony, the sad reality with getting young kids involved is technology, iPads, phones, etc. Yeah, I agree, Dustin. I'm not 100% understand it. I've got 2 of them. They're older now, but they don't race nearly as much as they should or could. They just don't want to. They'd rather sit in there on their computer or on their console. Put that back up there, Jake, when you get done editing. But yeah, that's it. There is a way to figure that out. You know what I mean? And make it happen. I think the whole community needs to work to do that. You know what I mean? And when you see a kid at the track, go talk to them. Don't make them come talk to you. Take your car over there and, hey, you know what I mean? If you know the kid, that doesn't count. Grab a kid you've never seen, or grab a kid that, around here we're lucky we're in town, even though we're small. People just wander up. So talk to them. Get them to come through the pits. Take a look at the cars. See how things work. See what the community's like, Novice A mains should be ran first in the mains so they can lead. Yeah, yep, agreed, Jake. We do that. I really wish I could run novice twice. I thought about doing that. Run novice novice and then novice again in the middle if we didn't have a shit ton of classes, just to keep the kids interested. So they would get 4 heats and then get them out first. Just because sitting there that whole time is hard for kids. So I don't know, just ideas that fly, man. I'm always trying to figure out some way of making it better, and I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying this is the detriment to the society itself. I'm just saying that it is something that I would like to improve upon to where more kids can get involved, no matter how you look at it. Okay. Anybody else got anything on that subject? That idea, thought? I think really, guys, kids see it. Young adults just get into it. They all see it and they're like, man, that's a lot. What do I do with all this? And the reality of it is you could probably sit down with somebody with a buggy street stock, figure out a package that isn't stupid expensive to be able to get them into a buggy street stock that they could then run in novice class. My only problem with the Traxxas and the Losi stuff is where do you go once you get there? Obviously, Losi stuff's open tire. I don't like that. The other thing I don't like is once you're done with the Losi car, what are you going to do with it? You're going to sell it or put it on the shelf. You got to go buy a new one once you get out of the novice or the Losi class. Now, granted, the Losi class does have a pretty good group of guys. Some guys that are pretty fast, and if you're in the top of that, you could probably move into the 13.5 car pretty easily. But I really think that the slash 3 stock, of course, you run out of room there too. But the slash 3 stock is a really good class to be able to really bang them up. The buggy street stock class, I think, is probably not entry level, but as entry level as you're going to get at this point, until we figure out a way to, I don't know, maybe do a buggy street stock. But the problem is nobody wants to buy the same shit. I think this short course stuff is kind of weighing away, right? I think the short course stuff is not as prevalent as it used to be. So I think more people are going to jump into the buggy base stuff and continue to climb with that. And then they'll figure out that the slash is a very fun class, so therefore it becomes a fun class. Has not as much as a cutthroat class, and then you can go there and see where that is. Losi is not open tire, or at least it shouldn't be. It's always been stock Hoosiers anytime I've raced. 13.5 is pretty natural progression. I've been competitive in 13.5 with my Losi at Raw before when there's enough Losis to make a class, or wasn't enough. Yeah, I don't know. Start a pro class buggy street stock LL graphite chassis. Let novice run the old buggy street stock chassis. I mean, at some point we either have to do one or two things with that. If that's where we think this hobby is going to go and the short course is going away, which in my opinion it is getting closer and closer every day that the short course is going away. Therefore, the buggy is going to be the car that you are going to run for 90% of the people out there. The slash 3 stock will be around here, but as you guys, most of you guys on here know, Brad changed his rules this year. He's letting you run any buggy or any slash you want, any body, any chassis, anything. Just got a tire rule and a BL2S system or a 12-turn. Trying to get it back. I know Cedar, we talked to those guys, and they're the same way. Cedar does not have a very good slash group. We have a great group of slash drivers. Farmer City seems to have an okay group of them on some races. I don't know about Jake's. I don't know how he does on them. But, or push the SR10 or SR10M as novice, they're ready to run. Yeah. Well, so that's what I was wondering too. Do you take a buggy based, whatever you want to do, right? And whether it be SR10 or do you do like even a V6 if somebody wants to build one, and put a 17.5 or something like that in it to slow them down to where they're not destroying stuff before you put them into the buggy street stock? Growth question for Oval though. Should we be trying to get more off-road guys to convert? Getting the large base of racers who already have tools, equipment, etc. should be the focus be on the brand new racers? I know the realistic answer is both, but I've never heard any of us talk about trying to get other disciplines of racers over to enjoy our racing. Well, I know Dustin did some stuff, and he does it for the Chili Bowl. He brings some guys over from the off-road side to race big stuff. Now you're talking. You're going to talk about putting people right into a mod car. You know what I mean? You're going to be up there. They're not going to probably be as much spec, which is fine. I don't care. Mod class is just as important as a slash street stock class or as a buggy street stock class. They're all important, guys. Don't ever think they're not. Dustin says novice buggy street stock, just stock 21.5. Yeah, whatever. I don't know what that number would be, right? We'd really have to do some checking and then let them move up. Jason says, Sam, off-road guys up here don't care about oval. Too boring for them. No technical, not technical enough is what I've heard. And I think that's where you get into it. You know what I mean? Like, I really think there's so much more to the off-road side. Right hand and left hand turns, jumps, what have you. So I think that's probably where we lose a little bit of that. But there are a lot of guys here. I don't know who's on here right now. I can't see, but like say, I know Weasel, he used to be an off-road guy. Somebody else, there's a few other guys I remember that used to be off-road guys that have come over to the dark side of oval. So I don't know, and dirt or off-road is so busy year-round. It's hard to get a guy to come to oval even to just try it, I think, because they are so busy. There's no real off-season. Now, we don't either, because in the Midwest, at least, we're lucky to have a few tracks that we can go race at in the wintertime, and plenty of tracks to race at in the summertime. So I don't know that that's it either. But I can see where the technical side of it would be different. I think it's pretty technical, honestly, to get the setup perfect where you can drive it the best you can drive it. But I can see where off-road would be different, you know what I mean? Not disagreeing with you, Sam. I just don't think they're going to be enough. I think we have to grow our own. So, but, I mean, we've had carpet guys come over. A bunch of guys from Thunderdome tried it last year. Last couple of years here at our place. There's a few of them that will probably be back, but a few of them that won't. And that's just how it works, you know what I mean? Dirt oval, if you come off a carpet or high bite like that, outdoor dirt oval is a totally different ball game than high bite carpet. So, and there's a few guys on here right now that can probably attest to that pretty well. But it's not bad. It's just different, you know what I mean? And some guys don't like the fact that, coming from carpet that all right, Mike. Congratulations this weekend too for your money. But Mike's been a lot of dirt this summer. You know what I mean? And he was down at Four Rocks, so yeah, that's good. Ryan says off-road guides will go straight to mod, most likely. Not gonna help novice or specs grow any. Yeah, there you go. There's a carpet guy. JJ Mustang. He's a big part of the banked oval, carpet oval. He says no practice anytime. You want is the big downfall of dirt, in my opinion. Carpet to outdoor dirt are worlds apart. To bridge that gap, yeah. JJ, I agree with that, buddy, and that's so hard. But here's the thing that happens too, and I can attest to this being where I am now, guys. Everybody knows my track. It's a shithole little track in the middle of nowhere. Okay, so don't put it any other way. But I would open on Saturday nights every night in the last 3 years. Last year was the first year I didn't open every Saturday for practice or whatever we could get down, and people wouldn't show. So that's why we cut it back. So that's why we did it. And I understand him. Yeah, there it is. JJ, come back with it. I understand why practice is so hard with all the prep. Yeah, it's not like you just, go in there and turn the lights on. You know what I mean? And I'm not bagging on carpet. Carpet's what carpet is. You know what I mean? Outdoor dirt takes a lot of work to get ready. And that's the reason why people are that way. You know what I mean? Sam says, I'm trying my hardest to not allow myself to get into off-road. I've got 2 tracks within 30 minutes of the house that I'm trying to stay away from. LOL. Get into it. Go drive, man. Put laps in. Who cares? If you enjoy that more, it's still helping the hobby, not the oval hobby, but you're still helping the RC community if you're driving whatever you're driving. If you're driving big rigs at a show and building big rigs, you're helping the RC hobby. It's a hobby as a whole. We look at dirt oval as dirt oval, and we look at carpet oval and whatever else it is what it is. But the reality of it is, if you are in the RC community and you are promoting the RC community, who cares? RC as a whole. Planes, trains, automobiles, it don't matter. Everybody just get it done and take care of each other. Sam says, I agree and understand what you're saying, but in my mind, entries are entries. Doesn't matter where or who or how you get them from. Yeah, I agree with you, Sam. I don't even know what to say. Mod can only withstand so much. I don't think it's at its limit. I think every track could use more mod drivers, no different than anything else, you know what I mean? But to get people started, that's not where you're at, right? And I understand the entry fee is an entry fee. You know what I mean? Like an entry is an entry no matter what. The number looks better. The number's higher. I mean, I was watching the U.S. Indoor Championships today, which, believe me, I understand is way off the hook, right? But they had 204 drivers, 434 cars today up in Cleveland. That's a 3-day deal. 15 hours a day, 3 days worth of it. They're running 434 cars through. Rob says, I'm new to RC racing. I've been racing at the Thunderdome. I'll be at your track this summer for sure. Well, thanks, Rob. Come out, hang out, have a good time. It's different, buddy. Just remember that when you come out, all right? Different group of guys. Well, you got some of my guys that are regulars here or regulars up there too. But, yeah, come out, hang out, and make it happen. You know what I mean? It's fun. So how do you do that? You know what I mean? We bitch about our long days. Of course, they get to start in the middle of the day. We're not doing it all night. 15 hours a day for 3 days. 3 days straight. Ryan says, Sam, you're not wrong. The positive in those conditions would be if they have kids that want to race too. Oval and novice is easier than learning off-road. I don't disagree with that either. I really think that oval is a great place to get into the hobby. If you're an oval, understand oval. You know what I mean? Like understand the process. But here's the thing: if you're an off-road guy and you race off-road weekly, do you think your kid's not going to be running off-road already? And then you hope the kid gets into it too. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying I think anybody coming in. And there might be more of that than I know. I don't know everybody's new guys, you know what I mean? But I don't remember where I was at and somebody was saying something about adding new cars. Takes forever first round because you're adding new transponders. Well, that's a beautiful thing because if you're adding transponders, that means people are not, you got new drivers. That's a great day. All right, guys. We're going to jump off of this deal. Thanks for listening to In My Opinion. Don't forget to join us live every Sunday at 7 p.m. Central on Kempton Speedway Facebook page. Catch our highlight show dropping Wednesdays on RCU Radio's YouTube, Spotify, and all major platforms. Please like, share, and subscribe. We appreciate your support, and I'll see you next time.